Gamescom 2024 has finally finished and the Fateless crew have been able to go home, and us guys was left with some amazing alpha gameplay footage where you had a first live reaction. If you've not checked it out, a little pinned comment should pop up in the top corner. But what we're going to be doing is breaking down all of it, right? So what we've been able to do with the Fateless crew, big shout out to Susie and Hades and Dan and everyone involved for getting all of the gameplay footage and sending it over to us to use for content. Big W to the devs, because I love when you see that collaboration working, because they are content creators. They understand this kind of just need to have good quality footage to make good quality content, right? So big shout out to you guys. And just as a reminder, guys, this is alpha footage, so anything I'm talking about could change. It could be all different at the end of the day, but from what we've got, I'm going to do a nice analysis breakdown and we can see how this game changes over time. So this video is going to cover the UI, the cinematic, heroes, as well as the gameplay, all done in a proper deep dive. So I don't know how long this video is going to be in this intro, but let's dive into the first part, which is going to be the cinematic.
The mists of Avalon, dearest, are parting. Beyond them, I see an existence broken by time, its reality fractured, splintered. Across these cracks, like a greed-flavored soup, spew forth those that want more glory, more power, or simply just more. We need an understanding of what the world now...
I think we can all agree the opening cinematic is absolutely beautiful and amazing to watch because it's so simple and yet so effective. And this, I believe, is following an old school Hearthstone formula. If you check out any of the Hearthstone trailers, a lot of them have this kind of comic book style event to them. And I actually like that because it showcases the story without sacrificing any sort of real detailing to the scenery. And when you progress this through on the actual story, as you guys know, you can see how with just subtle introductions of just an image, panning a camera can actually create a lot more visual effect. And this is what I really like when you're breaking down these cinematics. On top of that, we can obviously go a little bit more deeper. Obviously there's humans, we can see there's humans in here, but as we watch through this story and all of the craziness where the frost seems to be shattered, or the time seems to be shattered, something is broken, right? You can see this worgen almost, this wolf worgen, the mummies, the horde, all coming through. So this means for me, trying to break down this cinematic just on its own, you can see there's going to be potentially all these different enemies in the game. So you can imagine wolves, mummies, probably chimeras, all these crazy mythological beasts that are out there, similar to like the hydras that you might have experienced in Raid Shadow Legends. And the beautiful thing, when you pause and you get into all of these nice scenes, you can see even just the detailing on them. And this is a wallpaper. Let's just be honest, this could be a wallpaper right here. The fact that you've got the birds in the sky, you've got all of the war in the background with the cavalry and the humans, and you can even see the mummies fighting them with them scythe style Egyptian swords, which was honestly used back in the days. So it just showcases how much detailing they really are going into when it just comes to just simple things. Are they using the correct swords? Have they got the correct armor on? All of this does sell how good and realistic the game is trying to be while still being a fantasy-based game, right? So the opening cinematic from me personally, going into it and just breaking it down step by step in this little kind of intro on the deep dive, I love it. I think this is one of the best opening cinematics I've seen for the game, and I hope the team continues to do it. I hope this is kind of the path that when you're going through the story, when you're going through certain stages of, you know, DLCs and in the game, this is the way they tell the story, because this is really captivating and it makes me really want to listen because it's easy to follow and it's very detailed and it's just simple. So now let's dive into the more crazy bit which you guys want to know, the UI. So we're going to be covering the UI right now, and in the background is going to be a archer hero, as well as we're going to be going through the ninja and the mummy common and uncommon heroes, because by going through just the common and uncommon hero screens, I want to break down the full UI without spoiling any of the obviously heroes that we know of so far and going into what their kit can potentially do. Because the thing is, when we pause it on just this screen right here with the archer, you will notice this UI is not convoluted, it's quite simple, and it honestly tells you everything you need to know quite easily. And that's obviously from my speculations and assumptions so far. So just remember, this is pre-alpha, it could all change, but from this one screen, what we're going to do is break down the right side of the screen first, and then we'll go down to more of the left side where all the hero portraits are, so you understand what we are looking at. So on the right side, you're going to have 5 circles. These 5 circles are quite easy to understand. The top one is just info, so anything to do with your information on your hero. The next one down, I believe, is the abilities. So that just showcases what skills that hero has. When you go down to the third one, you'll notice there is a sword and shield. So what I believe this one is going to be for your gear. So if you have any gear that you need to equip to your hero, so a 6-piece armor set, 9-piece armor set, as you guys kind of know when you're playing games like Raid Shadow Legends and Watch of the Realms, Dragonair, you name it, they all have gear sets involved. I'm believing that's going to be your area for it. And then you're going to see this little kind of like dice with a V on it. And I believe that's the promotion screen. So if you go into there, that's going to be your mastery area, where you obviously put more sculptures into this hero from just obviously the upgrade area. But you're going to get more mastery points or something to do with mastery involved in there. And then the final one is just the kind of reward stuff. So if you click on that button, I would assume it's going to tell you a little bit of story about the archer, as well as obviously giving you rewards for getting them at a certain level or unlocking certain skills and just basically progressing the hero along, right? And just giving you rewards for unlocking heroes, which is really, really cool. So that's what I believe is the 5 little circles on the right side. I could be wrong, but maybe Hades is sweating. Like, how the hell does this guy know all this information? Is he insider? I'm not, I promise, right? But now let's go to more on the interesting side of the UI. So we have 3 images that if we go to the next screen, you can see here with the archer, they've got Avalon, Order, and Slayer. But when we go over to the next screen, you'll notice the ninja has also the same kind of 3, but we've got 3 different things. We've got Kojiki, Chaos, and Disruptor, right? So what I believe these 3 are basically all the info you need to know about this hero. So when it says Kojiki, that is going to be your affinity or a faction bonus. So obviously there's going to be different factions in this game, as we already know. So Konochi here is going to be part of the Kojiki faction, so they're going to have bonuses against certain other factions. We'll have to wait and find that out. But then you've got Chaos, and if you notice when we go back and click onto our Archer here, Archer has a order screen, and when we go through all the others, we're going to try and keep an eye on that, because where I believe that is kind of on the morale meter. So as you can imagine, there's good gods, there's bad gods, the kind of saying, right? So this is a god of order, meaning I believe any other god of order can be all paired together. Comparing it to a god, when we go a little bit into Konochi, she is a chaos-based god. So only other chaos or bad gods can be matched together to kind of separate the pools from each other, I believe. I could be wrong, but that's the only reason why I think there's a good and the bad affinity for them. It doesn't mean you can't obviously have bad or good Kojiki, right? There could be Kojiki that's on chaos side and the good side, allowing you to swap out different factions together to make some really funky teams. So we don't know. This is, again, all alpha footage, all me making assumptions and kind of going a bit more deeper into the UI. And then you've got the next area, which is the Disruptor. And if we go back to the Archer here, we have Slayer on the Archer, and then we can go into some of the other heroes and you'll see other different names. So this is Disruptor. Go back to the Mummy here, we've got Brawler, and this is, as you can imagine, the role or class that your hero is good at. So being a brawler, you can imagine this guy's kind of good at being in the front line. He's going to be able to take some damage, but he's good at actually dealing some damage back because he's a brawler, right? Kind of like a bruiser style hero. Comparing this to the Archer hero here, which has Slayer. Slayer can easily be identified as the one that's going to deal all the damage, who wants to get kills and just kill everything, right? The DPS of your team. And then if we go into the middle and find our Konochi here, we have Disruptor. So this could be a hero that could be a support, a utility-based hero that excels at disrupting. Maybe she puts silencers on, skill locks, she reduces rage, she can do anything, right? So that's kind of the class role from the UI. So quite a lot unpacked already, guys, right? And that is just from all of these different free UIs from the common and uncommon heroes. I'm going to let it play now in the background so we can have some nice, beautiful movement while you hear my lovely British voice here. And what we're going to be just showcasing is just the simple stuff, right? You can see heroes have the star level. It is purple stars. Who knows if that is, you know, gold and then pink. We don't know. It could be just straight up pink, which is going to be nice. But you get 6-star heroes. There's level 60, so you know that is all you're going to need, right? Now, if we go to the left side of the screen, though, this is where things get a little bit more spicy, right? Because we've got the hero portraits. And the thing is with the hero portraits, you can see there's like the eye, there's the different numbers. That's basically Roman numerals. So you got tier 1, 3, there's a 4 there, there's a 2 there. And I believe that is the mastery. So like I said, if we go back to when I just previously talked about the 5 different circles, that 4th point, you're going to go into there, increase your mastery, and that's what's going to give you that rank 1, rank 2, rank 3 on the top right corner of your hero. Now, the one thing which is catching me off guard is the weird little banner. But what I believe this is the commander bonus. Yes, you heard right. So what this means is certain heroes in this game are going to have a commander primary bonus. So if you put this guy in your primary slot, your entire team is going to get some sort of bonus. Odin has one, Leonidas has one, Zeus has one, Anubis has one, Hercules, Brynhild all have one, right? So you can see all of those different heroes that have one because the top left corner, when you look at Hercules or Ramses or Musashi, they don't have them, right? They've got no banner. And the way we can see this is actually if we go into the next bit of UI, which is your team selection. So with the team selection UI here, you can see we're in quite a campaign event, right? We're in Aru Realm. I am going to explain what that means in a moment. But in the most important part about this video is you can see the team selection setup and where Brynhild is currently positioned. You can see compared to all the other heroes positions, that has a blue border. So that's kind of like your primary commander hero slot. And if you put them into that position, you can see our Brynhild is giving 20% extra defense to all of our heroes in all battles. So this is why it's really important to now take note of this, because when we're going to get these new heroes and when we start diving into what's a good hero and what's a bad hero, we are going to have to think about that affinity bonus, their skills, their commander bonus now to make them a really good hero compared to other heroes in the game. So I really do like this, really cool little, you know, change here. And now going into the team selection UI and then breaking into all the heroes to finish the video off, this is the campaign Aru Realm. And what you can see here, I believe, is one of the game modes that's coming to the game, right? So Godforge is going to have, as you can imagine, certain stage areas or certain realms. And this one being the Aru Realm, you can see it states only Aru heroes. So in the future, you're only going to have a team of 4, but only Aru heroes are going to be in there. You can imagine there's going to be a Kojiki realm, there's going to be an Olympus realm, there's going to be all the different realms for each of the different factions in the game, right? Which is really cool because they might have one for everything, so you can have the craziest combos, but then they've made it so each faction, you do need those heroes to make it and get all the rewards for your account. So really, really good little area here, right? So nothing else I'm going to go too crazy about in this screenshot, because apart from that, everything else is quite self-explanatory. You can see the hero selection on the left side of the screen. Pick the heroes, you're going to have a tick on them so you know they're in the game. You can see which heroes are going to have your commander skill, where you can put where Brynhild is in that position 1. And then apart from that, you've got your energy at the top corner. So you can imagine doing this is going to cost you energy in the game. So really, really cool little UI that we've broken down on the hero screen and now into the team selection screen to kind of make it all one, so you've got a nice good info about what we could be potentially looking at when it comes to Godforge gameplay. So now let's do some more fun stuff. Let's get into some heroes, talk about some heroes that I really liked of in the game, and then we'll do some gameplay breakdown. So the first hero I want to talk about is Anubis, because oh my, I love this hero design, because Anubis out of all of the heroes is one of my favorite gods of all time. And the thing is, compared to all the different games out there, and there should be like Smite out there, you know, even just all the games, just imagine God of War, right? Anubis and stuff just hasn't been depicted as a cool hero. It's kind of this weird frail dog that is the, you know, gatekeeper of the underworld, which is really cool. But I love the fateless design here of Anubis. And when we're looking into his character, you can see he's a brawler, he's on the chaos side, and he's Aru, right? So he's on the Egyptian plane of factions, right? So kind of love it, kind of love this hero. And we're not going to go through every single one, guys, just as a heads up, because I don't want to make this video too long. If you want me to, I have all the footage cut and I will make that video. Just drop a comment down below so I know. But when we're looking at Anubis here, what I'm expecting, he's a brawler and a chaos. And when we go into the gameplay side, you're going to see a little bit of Anubis potential skills. And that's where I'm going to be quite interested to see what these things do. So the next hero we're going to be talking about is Leonidas, and I cannot believe this boy is in this game, because he's one of my favorite heroes in any sort of game, right? He's in so many historical games, and obviously the legendary 300, because we all want to at some point kick someone down the hole. And yes, just like that. It's just that simple, you know, and it's that kind of mentality of just kicking some boss's ass why we love Leonidas. And I do love the design of him. Very embodiment of what a Spartan warrior was back in the day and how people are depicting him too. And the crazy thing is, which is very spooky, you don't see the man behind the mask, which is kind of scary. You don't see who's behind it, and that's kind of terrifying to me. It's kind of terrifying. But I do love the whole model design. You can see the lighting design as well, really good on this hero, how it's, you know, shining off the metal on his helmet compared to just kind of lighting up his skin to kind of give it more definition. Really, really good model design. So no fault here. So let's go to the next hero and the final hero before we get into the juicy gameplay. So the final hero we're going to be talking about is Aphrodite. And the real thing I'm honestly addressing here is the challenge the devs and the game design team have honestly creating heroes, because a lot of the talk I've seen once upon a time on the Discord, which was crazy, was how sexual characters could be, right? Because obviously there's Aphrodite, god of beauty and god of kind of like sex, let's be honest, in Greek mythology. When you look at her in different games like God of War, she is just this over the top, over sexualized hero, which is just kind of crazy for a lot of players. And you can see when it comes to this hero design here, just the thought process of and restraint when it comes to the design, right? They could have clearly had, I'm going to be honest, a lot more cleavage on show. They could have clearly had no feather cloak down on her legs. Let's be real. They could have done all of that. They could have just made her basically like everyone else has done. However, they didn't, and I love that. I love the fact that they actually gave her a little bit of modesty, a little bit of a ladylike, you know, feel, because that feather cloak, I'm gonna be honest, is beautiful, and the way they've got the feathers on this magical staff, and I'm hoping that circle in the middle isn't rendered properly, because that could be potentially a mirror, and then the little, you know, heart is gonna be pink, so you've got a pink heart with the mirror, kind of showcasing, look, I love myself and I'm looking at myself because I'm the god of beauty, right? So I do hope that comes into the game. But it just showcases, look, the whole dilemma when it comes to character design. We've had Anubis, we've had Leonidas, now we've had Aphrodite. And you'll notice a common theme with all three heroes if you go back and check out just the video footage that I've got in this video. The game has done a really good job at being creative and not going over the top. So I want to give a big, obviously, W to the Faithless crew. Big W for all of the hero designs so far. I cannot wait to see what other heroes are going to be coming into the game. And now, with all of that, let's dive into the gameplay section of the alpha test at Gamescom 2024. So the first bit of actual gameplay I want to talk about is the Reliquary, and we're going to go from there into some gameplay footage and the final boss stage, as I'm going to call it, when they go against Anubis, because in here you kind of see quite a lot of stuff, and what I hope the game is going to go down in a direction, right? Because everyone wants a cool, fun game. So the Reliquary here says you've uncovered a Reliquary. Should we proceed? Yes or no? And I do believe this is basically the first instance of them testing a way that if your hero, for example, say Hercules is in your team and you're going through this kind of, you know, area that we're in, this temple area, if you use certain moves, maybe in that stage, and deal a certain damage threshold, it's going to unlock a special stage like the Reliquary, and by unlocking it, you're going to get bonus rewards, bonus things that other players wouldn't have done by experimenting and bringing the correct tools to unlock the secret rooms. Kind of like an Easter egg within the mode, right? So kind of like that. I hope that's the effect that they're going for, and the Reliquary kind of showcases this, hopefully, as an alpha design, you know, process. So here we're going to say yes, we're going to go into, obviously, the Reliquary area, and now going in, you can see some gameplay, right? So what we're going to do is break down quite a lot of stuff. They've added more text compared to before, which is really, really nice. So if you go to the first still image, this is kind of us entering the field. We've got a, obviously, speed up meter. You can see it. You can skip through. You can see the damage bar as well as the pause menu, which is nice. You can see kind of 4 heroes, which are going to be the 4 that you're going to be using, and the ultimates when it comes in. Then what you're going to see is the top left corner. That's the turn order of your heroes. So if we come into play and we get all our squad now into the battlefield, we can see they've got the first turn, right? So the archers are going to hit us first with a bunch of damage. So bang. Then you're going to see the next one. Bang. And now it's our turns. It's our Brynhild's turn, and she's kind of in auto battle mode, and she's going to be attacking. And you'll see, even with this freeze frame, there's no blur. There's no random weird clipping, apart from you can see her ass coming out of that thing. I believe they're going to get that fixed. Don't you worry. But boom, look at that. Nice and clean. We're going to just rewatch that animation again just for you guys and showcase all of it, because it's really clean. Even the enemies attacking with the arrows, beautiful. Just beautiful every time. Now, what else do we learn from the gameplay here? So what we can see on the actual heroes or the enemies that we're fighting is these arrows. And you'll notice these arrows change through the game. So this is kind of showcasing your affinity advantage against them, right? So Brynhild here with her affinity going against these archers, as we kind of saw in the earlier part of the video, she has a natural strong affinity. She's double green against it. It's kind of like a Pokemon system with the fire, the grass, the water. Then you're going into like the rock, the electric, you name it, all the different types. It's kind of that similar system, but a lot more easier with only, I think, 5 to 6, who knows, factions in this game. And when we're going into the next hero, you'll notice Zeus only has a neutral, because it's kind of like a orange bar, so it's no good, it's not bad either, it's just kind of in the middle. So we got 0% on maybe damage we take from him and damage we deal to him, which is kind of the whole point of an affinity bonus. When we're coming into Zeus's actual ability though, I will say Zeus looks really good. Again, all of these abilities at the moment you're watching are in 2 times speed. Just to remind you guys, you will see it later down the line, some 1x speed. And I am going to say this just mainly for the devs here. I personally think the 2x speed you're showcasing right now should be the natural game speed. It just should be. The way the animations are working, the running up, the swinging, even when you see Hercules jumping up and slamming down, all of those animations feel a lot more smoother, and I can tell you my eyes ain't tweaking. None of them are tweaking at all when it comes to those animations. And that's all because of it being in 2 times speed. So I feel like that's going to be the natural speed of the game. Or if you just lower it down by 0.25x, that might be the go-to. Honestly, it might be the go-to. What we're going to do now is actually break down some more UI changes. You'll notice throughout the gameplay, as we've been kind of, letting it play through here, you'll notice the actual UI has changed. The numbers is a lot more clearer down here. I can see a lot more clearer, 17,295 damage, but you can see this crazy symbol. So I believe that means it's critted against the enemy. Also, you can see the keyword strong, so because it's green or double green, this is a strong attack against them, just kind of solidifying the unit advantage or the faction advantage against that unit, go to this hero. And then same here, if we go, this guy crits for 12.8, which is kind of nutty. And then we go into this one, we've got another crit, 12.3k, but a defense down. So you can see even when you're applying debuffs, it's going to be nice. My suggestion again for the devs, if they're able to in the future, is to try and get into a nice layering system. So the 12,335 comes up first, then it goes up, and then the defense comes next, because then you've seen it all in kind of like a stack. If you played maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even Magic the Gathering, you'll understand the stack of things going on, and you can always look at the stack and see how things are chaining together. But that would be a really good way, instead of having the number and the defense break, obviously, kind of on top of each other, just slow them down. It's fine. It's fine. I think players want to be able to see that, right? When it comes into there. I know they're on 2x speed. Just to remind you guys, they're on 2x speed, so it might be easier on the 1x. But here we can see a weak hit, right? So here, boom, weak. But he didn't have that symbol. So you can see he didn't crit the damage, but he still applied 16,000 damage, but it was a weak hit compared to him, right? So really, really interesting to find all of this kind of breakdown, because this is red, right? See how it's red compared to orange? So this is orange, now we're in red, boom, weak. So you are going to have 3 different affinities: green, orange, red. Green being obviously the best, orange being neutral, red being you're doing less damage than you actually should be dealing, right? Now we're going to move into the final boss's stage, right? Because the final boss stage is really cool, because you're going to have here Aphrodite and Leonidas, but there is another little bit of gameplay where you see Anubis in action. So let's dive into that gameplay and finish up today's Godforge video. So when it comes to the boss stage and the final part of the gameplay, I do want to talk a little bit more loosely about all of the kind of gameplay we've seen all from Fateless Crew. So what I do enjoy, what I really do enjoy, is the environment effects, right? So whenever you see these environments being affected by skills, I do like that. I don't want it happening all the time, right? I don't want that type of thing, because it becomes a bit more like, yeah, it loses its touch. However, if it's one of those things where I said, Hercules right here could use his ability because he's in the squad and he breaks those, you know, sculptures in the background. What could happen is if you successfully beat Anubis, that unlocks a secret boss, a secret room for you to go in and get some additional rewards because you actually brought the correct tool set to unlock that little like Easter egg, right, in the stage, which I think it would be really, really cool. Obviously, it's going to be a lot harder to code in. I'm not going to say, you know, put it in right now, but it'd be a really, really cool idea for you guys. You can see here in the background gameplay, we've got, again, from the start here, Anubis triggering a bunch of AoE moves here. We've also got a initial, well, so I think that's intelligence, maybe, down, which is kind of cool. Big AoE hits. And you can see how Zeus, for example, against our Anubis has neutral affinity. So you can see he's going to crit him for 15.1k, but it's just normal. Same with Musashi here. He's going to do 5.8k, a lot less damage, but that's probably his A1. You've got Hercules going against him. And now you can see here, Hercules and Egyptian, right? Really don't like each other. You can see his natural red weak attacks. He's going to hit them. And this time, this is where maybe they haven't had it encoded during the gameplay, but you would assume the 6,000 here would be weak. It would be in the gray, like we saw in earlier gameplay section, right? So, what do I think about the whole thing? What do I think about Godforge while we let this final stage fully play out for the ending of the video? So I actually like the UI, as you guys have seen. I've broken down the UI quite a lot. I think it gives you all the information you need so far without making it too convoluted, which is a very, very clever design idea to me. Then the heroes. I like the way they've brought the heroes. Each hero does feel unique and is not going over the top, right, when it comes to creativity, and it makes sense. There is some things we could change. We all will agree some of the things could be changed. For example, Hercules. Hercules dealing poison damage, again, to me, doesn't feel quite right. I would expect Hercules to deal bleed damage and just have a separate damage, even if it's the same or if it's a little bit weaker or if it works a little bit different, would be really cool. But again, bleed versus poison, would love to kind of change like keywords like that. But when it comes to the gameplay is very, very solid so far. It's nothing too crazy, right? Because it's alpha gameplay, let's be honest with everyone, right? However, it is promising. You can see where this is looking almost like a AAA title, but on the mobile game. It's definitely showcasing the love and care and just the attention to detail they're willing to put in to the heroes, to the way the game is going to be played out, and what you're able to do when it comes to it. So to finish off the video, we've got the final part of it, which is the campaign end screen, and this is quite easy to break down. You can see your heroes, what you've been able to get, the levels that's going to be increased, and then you can see two things that does raise eyebrows. The Divine Pass bonus. I'd love to hear a little bit more information about that. Is this basically a battle pass for like $4.99? If it is, I'm not going to be mad at all. I'd love to hear just knowing what it is. But does it mean, you know, having that pass, I'm going to get 300 gold and 15 of this currency extra because of it? And then we can see a 6-star weapon, which is kind of cool, as well as a tier 5 gear. So this is where we're seeing the mastery, I think, on your hero matter and what's going to be able to be equipped for them. So love to dive in more, love to see more gameplay for Godforge, but for now, that's all we've got for you guys. I know it's been kind of a long video, but I really wanted to do this video justice. I hope you've enjoyed the editing. I hope you've enjoyed the breakdown. I hope you've learned something as well with what we've covered in all of the alpha gameplay. And again, big shout out to Hades, Susie, and Nan for basically getting all this footage, sending us out to the content creators so we can make some nice, top-notch content for all the Godforge fans to enjoy. So if you've enjoyed it, smash like, comment, subscribe. My name is MrSneakyy. I am definitely planning on covering this game. So if you want to see more Godforge content, you know what to do. So until then, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys. Peace out.